Okay, man. So, since the Patrick Beverly trade went down, it's been a whole lot of, well, Westbrook has to be gone now, right? And, it's the 27 and the 29 picks. We all know this. You give it to another team, that whole thing for taking on Russ. And, while this is happening, we've had the Knicks and Jazz continuing their staring contest for Donovan Mitchell. And then we had a report today, I believe, from Mark Stein, where he said that Danny Ainge really messes with those Lakers picks. And then there was another thing that said that there's a decent chance the Lakers could get involved in a Mitchell Knicks trade, basically. I guess the heart of that really is like, how real is this disconnect between the Knicks and the Jazz at this point? I mean, Danny Ainge, he could just be in the back of his head being like, okay, Knicks, I actually am content with whatever your exact offer is between all of the extra draft picks you have and Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickly, McBride, like whatever combo you're actually willing to give me there on top of like Fournier's contract or whatever. I'm actually good with it, but I'm going to act like I'm not good with it until the latest I can go with this is, which is maybe the beginning of the season, a month before the season starts. I don't know what it exactly would be. But if there is a true disconnect there, then I guess that does allow the Lakers to get in there because those two picks would make it easier for the Knicks. And then I think the idea there in a three-teamer is like Westbrook to the Jazz, Lakers picks to Jazz, and then combination of Knicks and Jazz players to Lakers, Mitchell to Knicks, and then still a decent amount of Knicks picks going to the Jazz as well. As far as who's going to the Lakers, you're looking at Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley and Evan Fournier and Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, whatever names you want to pick there. Bogdanovich potentially as well. That's the idea. And I would assume the Jazz also still get like at least one young player from the Knicks or whatever in that idea. However, I think there's a few things you can throw at that whole thing. Number one, why do the Lakers need to be in this move? I mean, if the Knicks and Jazz are chill with whatever it's got to be, which maybe they're not, I don't know, but if they can come to that agreement, then what the hell are the Lakers doing here? So who knows there. The other thing, though, specifically for the Lakers is like, I think the Buddy Hield Miles Turner move is just better than any combo of players from the Jazz and Knicks that you can throw on LA. Mainly just because the Miles Turner, Anthony Davis frontcourt defensively could be like really, really good. But again, it just says the Pacers want both picks. Lakers don't want to do both picks. You could also just say, well, Miles Turner gets hurt all the time, so therefore the other trade is better for them. And I mean, I can't really argue with you if it's about his injuries. I wondered for 5 seconds if the Lakers could somehow manage to pull off a move and they don't have to move both of their picks. And the idea here is, again, the three-teamer with the Jazz, because the Knicks are still going to have some picks going to Utah. My guess is the Lakers would have to move both picks. And, I mean, look, if they're not comfortable to do it for the Pacers trade, that does make me a little hesitant on how eager they would be for this proposed three-teamer. What does this all mean? I don't know. There's a chance tomorrow it's just Mitchell's going to the Knicks, Lakers aren't here, and then we're just talking about the Pacers trade for the next 7 years. It's been kind of entertaining reading about this trade online, because I feel like there's a lot of Pacers fans who are basically like, screw the Lakers, we don't want to help them out at all. And my reply to that is like, I don't know, man. Getting two unprotected firsts for Hield and Turner would be pretty alright. I'm also assuming in the scenario Westbrook is not playing for the Pacers, whether it's like a Kemba or Blake Griffin-esque buyout where you're buying him out and it's just the remainder of years he has left on the contract, which is 1 year. Although even that has been a little fishy, because I've seen some people who talk about the Pacers full-time who have questioned if Herb Simon, the guy running the show, would want to buy out somebody like Westbrook. And then you get into a whole, well, like, what is the best you could possibly get for Buddy Hield? Probably a late first from a good team. Maybe a similar thing with Miles Turner as well. Is that better than unprotecteds down the road? No, in my opinion. I'd rather have the unprotected picks, but I can also understand not wanting to wait that long. But again, none of that really matters, because if the Lakers aren't willing to give up two firsts, then it's just not going to happen, which I think is fair from Indiana. I've also seen a little bit of conversation about the Spurs, and, are they a Westbrook team? Because, I mean, they're not as concerned with going for dubs this season, we would imagine, right? Well, number one, Popovich hates the Lakers, so that might be enough to where it never happens. Number two, I mean, you're pretty much looking at Doug McDermott, Josh Richardson, and Jakob Poeltl as your guys who could help the Lakers right now. But from everything I've read, I don't think there's any actual traction on the Spurs stuff for Westbrook. The Pacers one, like, they have actually talked. We know that. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to go watch House of the Dragon, and yeah.